everybody. Welcome back to Sobriety and Everything Else. My name is Eric Andrew. I am your friendly neighborhood sobriety coach and host for our episode here today. And I'm coming to you live from my plush studios in my dining room. Yes, that is correct, folks. We spare no expense here at Sobriety and Everything Else. So I wanted to hop on here. So here we are, June 20th, and we are getting into summer, right? Summer. And I wanted to talk about two things with you. One, obviously, I want to keep coming back to the idea of sobriety, because yes, there's all these other things that are part of our growth as we get sober and all of that. And I will talk about that. In fact, I will talk about some of that today, but I also want to keep in mind the new person, the person that is just going through what they call all the firsts. So this may be your first summer of sobriety. So first off, welcome to your first summer and congratulations, you have made it this far. This can be a rough time. This can be a rough time because of all the different kinds of activities that happen during the summer, right? So let's see, staff picnics, softball games, hikes, hanging out at outside pubs and bars and breweries and listening to music and going to outdoor concerts and hanging out with friends on a Friday night, 4th of July, Labor Day weekend, the shore, the Jersey Shore, that's around where I live. But any beach or ocean or lake or river, tubing, camping. I'm probably missing 100 other things, right? There's just so many different things that go on in the summer, right? And so many different things that we do. And we get here in sobriety, and the first thing that kind of starts to happen is, I'm not going to be able to have any fun anymore. I'm not going to be able to hang out with my buddies and have some beers at the local outdoor pub while we're listening to a local band. I'm not going to be able to really enjoy drinking with my friends in the softball tournament on Saturday. I'm not going to be, right? Just like all of that. And you get this sense, or at least I did, this sense of you're sidelined. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You know, your life is essentially over, right? How many of you are thinking that out there? Come on, raise your hands. I see you. Yes, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that. And I get it. I was there. I know what that feels like. It doesn't feel good. And it feels like, how am I ever going to get through a summer again without being able to do that one thing that everybody else does, right? Well, you can, and you will. And what's going to happen, and it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. And you know what? You may struggle this summer. You may really have to pick and choose what you go and do. You may have to think really hard about where you're going, and are you going to be tempted? And if you think you're going to be too tempted, do you go? Do you not go? Do you set a time limit on how long you're going to stay? All these things have to be part of it. And listen, you're doing this for your health. You're doing this for your longevity. You're playing a long game right now. So yes, maybe in the short run, it sucks. Maybe in the short run, this summer may not play out exactly the way you would have liked it to. But I'm telling you right now, it will eventually. I'm going to give you a quick example. I went this summer. I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan, and I went this summer to outdoor concert close to me. Dave Matthews. This is the fourth time I've gotten to see them in 4 straight years. They play at a venue by me, an outdoor venue by me. That's about an hour and 15 minutes away, so it's pretty close. And I have to tell you, I enjoy the music more now than I ever did, and I really get to see what's happening. And what's really interesting to me is, as I'm standing there and really into the music and into each song as they go from one song to the next, I'm watching people just walking back and forth. And they're heading to, where do you think? They're heading to the bar. They're heading to wherever they're selling alcohol. And as you probably know, and I know, I remember those days, the line is long and you're standing there and you're standing there. And in a venue like that, you're probably paying anymore, what? Anywhere between $8 to $12 for a beer, a craft beer. A mixed drink might be upwards of maybe 15 is low end, but probably closer to 20. Maybe I'm overshooting. I don't know. But even if it's 15, even if it was all just 12, think if you had 3 or 4 of those, right? I mean, you're talking about 48, 49, almost $50 of drinking in the venue that now you're not spending. Now maybe you could take that $50, buy yourself a couple t-shirts of the band, right? If you wanted, or just pocket that $50 and use it for a different day for something else. You will also find that the drinking won't bother you. Maybe it will now. Maybe if this is your first summer, maybe even this is your second or possibly even your third summer, maybe it's still, you have to be careful about it. And I'm not saying I don't have to be careful. I'm not saying that I don't have to think about it. I do have to think about it. I do have to think about, hey, I'm going in a venue where there's going to be alcohol. I just need to be aware of that. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I just let myself realize I need to be aware of that. And I just, need to stay focused on what I'm doing and why I got sober in the first place and what it is I'm trying to do. And honestly, that thought process for me is not very long. It takes a few seconds. It goes through my brain and out my brain. And with all the different non-alcoholic craft beers that are out there and non-alcoholic different liqueurs that are out there and stuff these days, there's plenty of choices that you can make that have nothing to do with alcohol. Or if you don't like those, and I know a lot of people who don't, they feel like they trigger them or whatever, and I get that, totally get that. Then, seltzer and lime, let me tell you, pretty refreshing on a warm summer's evening out listening to a band. It's pretty good. And you might find that, I stay a lot cooler when I drink seltzer and lime versus seltzer and I add in my favorite alcohol and lime. I probably get hotter and feel warm and not feel great because it's warm outside already. I know seltzer lime is a great refreshing drink for me, and or a Coke, right, or whatever. Maybe just a bottle of water does the trick. But you will find those replacements will be fine. And listen, you spent how much? 60, 70, 80, 100, $150 on a ticket to see the band? Isn't that why you're there? To see the band? I mean, are you really there to drink? Can't you drink any time of the week? Any time of day? Any day of the week? Any whatever? I mean, why spend $150 on a ticket to a band when you're going to stand in line buying alcohol all night? I mean, I look back at that now and go, wow, I can't believe that I ever did all of that. That's crazy. Now I just go and I enjoy the band and I walk out of there going, that was a really good $80 I spent or $100 I spent or whatever it was. I don't feel guilty about it anymore because I remember the songs. I remember what was played. This last particular concert that they did, they played a couple of songs that I've never heard him play live, and I love them. They're two of my favorites, and it was really good. For those of you who are Dave Matthews fans that might go, well, what are your favorites? I'll tell you, they played Pig, and which I've never heard live, and I love that. And he followed that up with Ants, and it was really cool. And then he played Cornbread, which is another song that I do like, but you don't hear it very often. But it was really, again, another kind of get you going type of song. But I remember all of that. I'm not like fuzzy on it. I'm not like having other people tell me, oh, he did this or oh, he did that. And then like wondering what it must have been like. Or being told that, like I remember going to a U2 concert so drunk that I almost went over the railing at Yankee Stadium and my cousin had to keep pulling me back. So, I mean, stupid stuff happens. I remember drinking so much that at a Bruce Springsteen concert, I fell asleep. A REM concert and I fell asleep, so, I mean, that's how dumb it would get for me. So you will find that these activities, I just talked about a concert today, but it could be, a softball game or whatever it is, but you will be present. And when you are present, that is more important than anything else. So understand that you will get through this. Understand that you still, yes, you need a game plan. And yes, maybe you're going to have to say no to a couple of things. And yes, maybe you're going to have to leave early on a couple of things, but that's okay. That's okay, because you're learning new behaviors. You're creating a new habit of way you're going to do things, and you're keeping yourself out of harm's way, right? And that's the goal right now, is just to do that. So take a breath. Everything will be good, and it will get better. Trust me. But know that this summer, maybe if it's your first, it might be a little tough, but you can do it. I know you can do it. I have faith in you. And trust me, that band, the next time you go, will sound that much better. All right? Okay. So, talk a little bit about that. I'm going to I don't want to spend a lot of time here going too crazy, but I wanted to talk a little bit about something that's really come up lately for me in terms of how we communicate with each other. And, I've noticed in the world that we're not doing a very good job of that. And it doesn't matter whether you're, fighting through the idea of sobriety, or you're just a human being on this earth. We get these ideas in our head of that we're right and everybody else is wrong, and we just want to keep talking and we don't want to listen. But what I'm going to challenge you to do, and again, like, I'm not going to spend 100 days on this, but I really think that it's a good point that I want to make here, is I challenge you to just listen. And when you do respond with a question to whatever it is that they're talking about. And make it, and not make it a question where you're trying to get them or you're trying to prove them wrong, but just a inquisitive question of wanting to kind of know where they're coming from, but listen to not only their words, but watch how they carry themselves in their conversation. Watch their face, listen to the emotion in their voice, listen to their story of where this is coming from. And that's a really good question. It's like, well, where have you encountered this before? Why do you feel the way you feel? What happened in your life that allowed you to come to this conclusion about whatever it is, And most of us have a story. Most of us have a story about why we think and feel the way we think and feel, whether it's thinking and feeling in terms of how we get along with each other, or whether it's thinking and feeling in how we kind of view the world and the place we live and the country we live in and the politicians that we have and the world itself. We all usually have some reason that we feel the way we feel. This more ingrained in who we are and how we grew up, and some of the things we've experienced in our lives, and I think when we can do that, we get a better sense of where people are coming from. And I think if we can get a better sense of where people are coming from, we can be a little bit more understanding. I'm not saying that we have to accept it. I'm not saying that we have to now all of a sudden say it's true and they're right and all this time I've been wrong. I'm not telling you to forego your belief system. I'm just telling you to be willing to listen and then have a question. So at the very least, you can understand them a little bit better. And I think if we would learn how to understand each other a little bit better, we might find some common ground. And I think that's where we really need to get to, is some common ground. And again, I'm not just saying that in terms of politics. And I know politics right now is a big thing, a hot topic, but just even between two people in a relationship, you still have to have common ground. Remember, even though you're coming together and even though you say you you might be saying you love each other at this point or whatever, you're still two different people from different backgrounds that different things affect you. So just make sure that you're really trying to understand each other and really listen to what the other person's saying. Don't just dismiss it because you don't believe it or that you think it's silly or ridiculous. Listen and pay it the service it deserves, that it is coming from this person that you care about and they have a relationship with it, so you can try to understand what's going on there. Okay. So I hope this was a little informative today. I did talk about two topics. I didn't want to go too crazy with the second topic. because I really think it's something that we have to work on. But I think it's something to remember for sure. And the first topic about sobriety in the summer, listen, we can all get there and we can all do it. And we're all focused on making sure that we stay healthy and we do the things that we need to do. And we keep working for in the long game. I mean, I think somebody should hand out tickets when we first go into sobriety, and they should say, you are now playing the long game. So take a breath, because really that's what it's about. This is about the long game. This is about longevity. This is about health. This is about feeling better. This is about doing the right thing for ourselves from a mental perspective, and certainly from a physical perspective. So allow yourself to play it as a long game and not get upset over the short run part of the game that might be a little disappointing, because it will get better. Trust me. All right, everybody. I will talk to you soon. Have a great 4th of July, and I will see you on the flip side.